Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Tortoise, the Tier 9 British tank destroyer. It's located on the west wall of Paris under the command of FiliPer1n0. Game on! Well, this is the tank destroyer, the A39 is the British code for it. That was actually supposed to take on the Siegfried line. They made 18 separate designs until they finally got to this one. And the in-between designs included the AT16 and the AT15A, which are also in the game. And they started work on it in 1943, and it wasn't ready in time for the conquest of the Siegfried line, but it was completed after the war, and they didn't build that many prototypes actually. There's one that is a completed one that's actually at the Tank Museum at Bobbington, and I think they made 4 others as well, some which weren't complete but slightly different designs, different configurations. Now it actually only has a Meteor engine, 650 brake horsepower. As you know, that's the same engine you find in the Comet and the Cromwell, and this tank is considerably heavier than both of those. Yes, it's 81 tons in weight, which is why this thing only goes 20 kilometers an hour maximum speed. In fact, to move one of these about on a truck, you need 2 tractor engines to pull the low loader that actually carries the Tortoise. It's so heavy, it needs 2 vehicles to move it about. It's also fairly wide, which means that it would have difficulty crossing some rivers, unless of course you actually have the necessary equipment or a necessary bridge that was wide enough for it. Oh, slipped over the edge there. Now this one is armed with a 120mm gun, capable of 400 alpha, and with standard rounds it's capable of 259mm of pin, and with premium APCR it can actually go through 326mm. The rate of fire, well, by the book it's 6.81 seconds, but FiliPer1n0's managed to get it down to 5.79. So it is actually quite fast firing, even though that sounds like a long time. In fact, it's actually very quick, considering what sort of gun you're looking at. The 120mm is actually a heavy tank gun. And the armour is absolutely enormous. It's 273.1mm at the front of the vehicle, and there's very few tanks that can actually pen it, but it can do a lot of damage to the enemy. Now it does have a weak spot, and it's the obvious one, I'm afraid. It's that loader's machine gun turret. Yeah, that's fairly thin, you can get through that, but the rest of it is pretty strong. You can see he's doing considerable damage to that SU-130PM. In fact, it's getting high rolls off him actually. Now he doesn't want to expose his side because the side armour is fairly thin. It's only 152.4mm, and the rear armour is only 101.6, so you don't want to expose your rear if you can help it. But if you can keep the enemy to your front, they'll find it fairly difficult to actually pen you. Okay, well, the enemy's just lost their T-44, and we're now starting to put shells into their T-34-1. Now you see, he can't penetrate. He's only got a 100mm gun, and he can't pen. Oh, but the guard can. He's got a 122mm, and he managed to get around into our side there. And because we were angled at that point and he could see our side, the T-34-1 managed to get a shot in as well. So we're in a bit of a quandary now, because if we do try and hit the T-34-1, the guard will come out and shove around into our side, and if we try to get the guard, then the T-34-1 will go around into our side. But the guard just got killed by our Super Hellcats, and now we can push forward and pump rounds into the T-34-1. He's already up to 2,000 actual damage, 2,000 blocked. And this is where the enemy really starts suffering, because now he'll just keep pumping these rounds into these other tanks. He's taken out the Carnarvon with one shot. And I think he's now going to try and do the same to the Skoda T56, who is a one shot. And he's gone. So that's now 2 kills to FiliPer1n0. Now there are some enemy tanks around this corner. There's supposed to be a Strip 1030 and a Scorpion. And he's found an S51 instead. Unfortunately, we actually hit the tracks of that S51. But we have got his gun shield exposed. That's a weak spot. And he's out the game with one shot. There's the Scorpion. There's the Strip. Goes for the top. It ricocheted off, and in fact he managed to get a penetrating shot. I think he aimed for the weak spot, the gunner's hatch. Yep, there's another one. He's aiming for our weak spot. And I think if we turn around, you can see that's exactly where he's aiming for. That little hatch there is definitely a weak spot. Or it's not a hatch really, it's a cupola, but yeah, you don't really want to get hit there if you can help it. It's only one of the loaders who's in there, because there's 2 loaders for this tank. Couldn't get around the corner in time, but now we can. He went for the gun shield, so he knows it's a weak spot. And oh, now the SU-130PM. Now anywhere on this tank is weak, and he's gone as well. So that's 5 kills. One more, he gets the top gun. Hello, Mr. 271. Takes 1 hit. Doesn't go down there, but he's want to stay up here. He's got gun depression and 10 degrees, and there's his top gun. Now, there are no Arty in this game, so there's not likely to be somebody at the back, but the Carnarvon Action 10 just killed our teammates behind us, and now we've got an SU-152 ahead of us. Backing up the slope, trying to get a shot, and the enemy's capping. This is not good. But can we get a shot? Yes. 1 shell in and a high roll, 499. The SU-152 makes a big mistake there to come up, because that gives him a kill shot. Now the enemy is no cap kill all, and that's a bad move as well, because, well, FiliPer1n0 will love doing this. He'll take the enemies out one by one. Got a long way to go to get back to the cap though, and I'm not so sure he'll be able to get it back in time if more than one of them does cap, but you never know. That AE phase 1 is still there. He wants the kill. Lets it settle. Pumps it into the turret. Gets a low roll. Go for the kill. It's yours. Oh! Cheated! Now you can get it this time, no problem. Yep, got him. That's his 8th kill, his Radley Walters. Now we've got the Carnarvon Action 10. There's only 2 enemies left. I don't think they can cap out now, unless of course they can just delay that super Hellcat. 1 round into the Carnarvon, next round will kill him, and there'll be 9 kills. Goes for the catch, gets it. That's a 9 kill game. Now, can he get the Black Prince? It would be nice if he could get the Pulse Medal. I hope that his teammates recognise that. He's put 10 kills in the text, in chat, so hopefully the Super Hellcat will just hold that Black Prince at bay, and then we can get over there and get a Pulse Medal. It's nice having a Radley's, but it's even better when you get a Pulse Medal out of it. And there he is. Didn't get the pen. The armor stopped it. Get another shot in. Yes, he's now 1 shot, so the Pulse Medal is his if he can pen the next round. Yes! And that is a Pulse Medal to win the game. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker for FiliPer1n0 in the Tortoise. He's had them before, that's not the first one. He also managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, in this one he got 5 critical hits exactly. Got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, and a shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, as well as a Pools medal for getting at least 10 kills, a steel wall for blocking the most damage in the game, a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and finally a top gun for getting at least 6 kills. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage was 7,224. The next highest damage was only 2,949. That came from the Tiger 2 on his own team. So that's less than half the damage that FiliPer1n0 managed to get. When it came to kills, he killed 2/3 of the enemy team. The next highest scorer being the AE Phase 1 he took out, who only managed 4. And when it came to base XP, he earned 1,765. The next highest being the Tiger 2 with 976. He fired 30 rounds in that game. You only get 50 rounds of ammunition, so he did burn through at least half of his ammo, and he did use a fair amount of APCR as well, the premium stuff. 24 direct hits on the enemy, 20 penetrations, damage of 7,224, of which 1,291 were at more than 300 meters. He received 16 hits from the enemy, 4 penetrated. Most of them were actually from that Striv 1030, when he actually aimed for the right spots and got the pen. Plus, of course, he did get hit by the guard and also by the T-34-1. They went for the weak spots on the side. 12 non-penetrations, 3,840 hit points of damage stopped by armor. 1 enemy vehicle was spotted, 12 enemy vehicles were engaged and 10 killed, and he got 1,681 hit points of spotting assist. He earned 62,308 credits from the game, 28,039 from battle payments, 121,501 credits altogether. And after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, he actually took away a profit of 16,183 credits, and he would have made a loss, but only a 14,000 loss if he'd actually had a free-to-play account. 1,765 XP times 2 for the first victory, 5,296 experience points altogether. He says the Tortoise clapping them cheeks. Let's have a quick look at the armour for this vehicle. It's a bit of a monster. There you go. You can see loads of red. Yeah, that's where the really strong armour is. 273.1 millimeters right at the front of the vehicle. And yeah, that's very thick indeed. Even the upper plate is, or front plate is 101.6, but it's well angled, so it's getting 264. Just around the mantlet, it's 304 millimeters there, coming out about a 311. And over here on this side, where the gunner is located, or the gunners are located, 273.1 millimeters exactly. You can see this part here, this slab-sided part, is 215.9 impacted, but it's actually coming out effectively about 285. But there's your weak spot, 171.5 millimeters impacted armor, and coming about the same. So that is the spot to aim for if you can to get the pens. It's a little lighter on the armor on the sides, 152.4 I mentioned. That comes out at about 150 because it's kind of slab-sided. You can see there, very flat, allows the shells to come in, and it's much weaker on top. It's only 57.2. Most Arty are going to have trouble trying to penetrate a Tortoise unless they can hit it on the rear. There, 38.1 millimeters on the rear. So that's the place to aim for if you can get it where the engine is, the Meteor. And at the rear, it's 101.6 and coming out about 104. So yes, it does have pretty strong armor. If we go to the live version, you can see, yeah, it's red all over. In which case that means it's very tough armor indeed. And even if he angles it, he's going to have a lot of protection. If he's not angling but he's still got a fairly good gun arc, you can see here his gun arc extends over to 20 degrees over one side, 20 degrees the other, 40-degree arc. But you can see from this, if I get the gun there in the right place, you can see when he's angled enough, I'll move that around there, that's better. If he's angled enough, he can still have massive protection from all of this armor on the front of the vehicle. Very difficult to penetrate a Tortoise from the front unless you go for that cupola. Let's have a quick look at the modules. A lot of crew for this one. He's actually not just got the 2 loaders, he's actually got a radio operator as well, specific for the job. There's the tank commander. He's got that very difficult to hit hatch right at the back, but just in front of him's the radio set, and there's the radio operator that goes with it. 2 loaders at the back. One of the loaders operating that cupola, and that's why you tend to lose your cupola. If you get hit with the cupola, you tend to slow down your reload rate. There's the driver. He's got his own little viewports right on top. The gunner is actually to the right of the gun as we're looking at it. The other loader's at the back, and there's this huge wall of ammunition. That's the ready rack, and there's another whole load of ammo right in the very back at the bottom of the tank, and you can see the engine is sandwiched between 2 fuel tanks. Now remember, this is the Meteor engine, so yeah, it actually looks quite big there, but it's actually quite a small engine because of course it fits into a Cromwell or a Comet. So there's the transmission at the front. The transmission's going through the vehicle up to the front of the vehicle. And again, that's another reason why if you get penetrated at the front, you'd actually slow this thing down. But of course, you can't penetrate it from the front very easily, simply because the armor is so thick. Anyway, that's where all the modules are on the Tortoise. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. Well done to FiliPer1n0 for getting a Pools medal in the Tortoise, as well as an ace. If you enjoyed the replay, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.